This is Rat Pack Radio, the internet radio station that brings you everything from the top hits in music.
Hey guys, this is Bruno Mars.
Hey, it's only, come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon.
To Sports Talk Radio.
With the first pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Jared Goff, quarterback, California.
We are here for you, WRPR Rat Pack Radio. Come join the pack. Download the WRP Rat Pack Radio app on Google Play, BlackBerry, and the Apple Store. If you're streaming, you can stream us on TuneIn.com, Web Radio Central, or RatPackSports.com/RatPackRadio. The Underground, discovering hidden talent worldwide. Playing daily on Rat Pack Radio, WRPR. Come join the pack.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to...
You're listening to the Rat Pack Sports Show live on Rat Pack Radio, WRPR.
It's new, it's fresh, it's a slam dunk!
You're listening to Rat Pack Sports Show on WRPR Rat Pack Radio.
Blue, you're my boy!
A genius. A man who has a reputation to be the best at what he does.
You see, a man has to realize his limitations. You don't know me, and you don't know what I'm capable of.
That was a heck of an effort. This house is a prison, and the galaxy of this sucks.
You're free enough.
This battle is over when I say it is over. I will massacre you.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Are you not entertained?
I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
That's how I roll.
Offensive foul!
Hello? You play to win the game.
There's a drive! Way back! It could be!
This is my favorite part coming up right now.
All right. Rat Pack Sports Show. We back in the building another week, bringing you the best of ears in sports talk and entertainment for your ears here live, Rat Pack Radio, WRPR, streaming online, Rat Pack Sports, and also the Rat Pack Radio WRPR app. We're in the building another week, and we got a problem, but we'll get through it. But we here Wednesday night, and on the heels of the Super Bowl, which we will get into that a little bit later. I'm having all kind of technical difficulties right now, so just bear with me because I can't really hear myself, and normally I can hear myself, so I don't know what's going on there. But on the heels of the Super Bowl, we'll get into that. We got NBA as well. We're going to get into that. Wrestling, AEW. That We got college basketball coming down the stretch. We also have the spring league that's getting ready to start. You know, we're at the end of the NFL season now, so we get into some free agency. We already have a few coaching changes here. One that we'll get into right now because I feel like we going to get into that because it has something to do with the Super Bowl, and I have an opinion. I have an opinion on the coaching change, even though there's a lot of people out there that feels like, a lot should fall on the head coach, which it should. But there's some things that's been happening. This is not a Super Bowl deal. This is also during the course of the whole regular season there's been issues with, the defense and not, changing things up, so to speak. I'm in the sports group. You got a lot of, people in there that are 49er fans that's explaining it a little bit more in detail on why, even though you're in the Super Bowl, why the 49ers decided to move on from Steve Wilks. Now, remember, Steve Wilks is in his first season as the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. Before then, you had DeMeco Ryans, who is now the head coach of, the Houston Texans. So, it's, they're in the Super Bowl. They still have one of the top defenses in the league. But there's been some stuff going on behind the scenes and game day type, preparation and stuff like that, adjustments that is not being made. But before we go on there, we're going to just come on now, bring him on in. Rat Pack Sports Show's on. Mr. William Graves is on the line with us right now. What's going on, brother?
Man, a lot going on today. A whole lot going on today. Steve Wilks getting fired. It's always a tale of two stories and everything. And I'm before I give my final opinion on this situation, I want to talk to you, and I want to see what you're feeling and everything, and see where your head is at as far as this. Because top 7 defense, Debo, only 6 other teams that had a better defense than you. Kind of hard to walk away from that, don't you think?
Yeah, top 7 defense. You're top 10 defense. You can't. We're at the end of the season now, so you can't really it is what it is. Even though it might still top 7. To me, it's all about context, right? So you got a top 7 defense. That's what the numbers says. But if you're a fan of that team and you watch the games and you saw us, you saw the team get, throttled at times. You saw the team not be able to stop third down, which they, then the numbers are just the numbers until you put it together with the tape and you realize, okay, you're number 7. No, in the number standpoint, you're number 7. But this tape says we got problems here, here, and here. And I attribute that to strength of schedule, because when we played teams that were not as tough, they look like world beaters. when we played the playoff or championship caliber teams, it's a whole different story. So, you know, go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that it's not the fact that Steve Wilks is not a good defensive coordinator, because obviously he is, okay? Because look at Carolina.
Yeah.
Can't tell me that he didn't have something to do with that defense. Okay?
No, he did. He did, but to be fair, the defensive coordinator this year had Carolina as a top 3 defense.
Right. But now let's look at San Francisco again. The another good defense. So let's establish that he is a good defensive coordinator. Okay, let's establish that, because the numbers are what they are.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that the reason he was let go is because the defense that he was calling did not match the personnel that was on the field, and that maybe Shanahan has somebody else in mind that has a defensive scheme that would better suit the personnel that they have?
Very, very possible. Very possible. And let me go back here, because I was just reading about this situation in another group here, sports group, with a couple guys that are 49er fans. And
by the way, Derek, really quick, I do need to apologize to you. Went back and watched a couple of plays during that third and fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. Man, you caught it. I thought there was a spy on the QB.
No,
and
bro.
I went back and looked, and there wasn't.
No.
Debo, I would have bet the farm that he had a spy on.
Yeah, you would have thought.
QB.
You would have thought after the first 3 or 4 times when he did orchestrated runs and he was picking up 15, 20 yards.
I thought he did. I'm sorry, man. I truly am. You caught it. You so I'm sorry, Debo.
Yeah. So
please don't fire me.
No. No, man. But and this is probably one of the issues here with Wilks remaining a defensive coordinator for the 49ers and going forward, because you're looking at this and you got to look at the future. So if you're in this situation again, you want to make sure you got somebody that you're on the same page with, because I didn't agree what Wilks was doing defensively. Like your bread and butter all year, we know the 49ers, they mix it up in the coverages. They bring different blitz packages. They put pressure, not just rely on the front.
Look at the first half of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And then, the second half, it was like he came out and it was a different plan of attack. Yeah. And I was like, why, what is going on? Why isn't he pressuring? They was still pressuring Mahomes, but I think the coverages he was playing was soft. They was
right, go ahead.
We're Buccaneer fans, and for a long time,
yes, sir,
our defense was predicated on the pass rush. When you got an elite defensive line, you got Bosa, you got Chase Young, you got the 2 defensive tackles that get upfield. The quarterback only got so much time. Doesn't matter if it's Patrick Mahomes, the defensive tackles are really not that good, so you're going to get there. I didn't understand why they was playing soft in the secondary. which was allowing them to get easy releases, which in the first half they couldn't get anything because they was playing tight man-to-man defense. And then Patrick Mahomes started scrambling. And he wasn't just scrambling. He was picking up chunks, 20 yards, 25 yards.
He was picking Debo, he was picking up 5 to 6 yards a run.
Yeah, and they started running the zone.
He was picking up running back yards.
Yeah, and they started running the RPO, and I'm like, okay, so now they're orchestrating runs for Patrick Mahomes. Your defensive line is doing their job. They're trying to keep him in the pocket. You can't keep Patrick Mahomes is a good quarterback, so you can't keep him in there every single snap. But they did great for the most part. The problem was when those times that the ends closed them in or the defensive line didn't, or the defensive ends jumped in and then he went outside and scrambled. There was no spy. So now you're trying to play coverage, a zone coverage, or I don't know what they was doing, but the middle of the field was just wide open.
Debo, hold on, Debo. That wasn't a zone coverage.
Well, I mean,
you cannot, but Debo, you cannot look at that coverage and tell me that was zone.
It wasn't man, because if it was man, you would have been able to have Mahomes accounted for.
Debo, it was shades of a prevent defense.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. I do agree with you on that.
Because Debo, when I went back and I looked,
dude, there was 10 yards off the ball.
No, but look, pay attention. If you go back and you look at some of the plays, pay attention to the corners.
The corners,
look at where the corners are lined up.
Yeah.
During the third and fourth quarter versus the first and second. They're playing off.
Yeah, way off.
Why were they playing off?
I don't know. That's the head scratcher. Why was Steve Wilkes having them play off when the defensive line was straight harassed? I mean, it was the first half, I think up until about halfway through the second quarter, I don't think Kansas City had 100 yards of offense.
Debo, they barely had 50.
And I'm like, okay, if they keep doing this is over. Like, the defensive line was straight dominating the line of scrimmage on both run options.
Chase Young and
Bosa.
Nick Bosa were having their way.
They couldn't block him. So you automatically know when you got two defensive ends that are basically unblockable, the quarterback only has 3 seconds. After that, he's on the ground or he's running for his life. At that point, you got to have your defensive backs like they were in the first half, playing head up,
playing
tight man-to-man defense because the ball's coming.
Yeah.
The ball is coming.
Well, even look at the last play of the game, Debo. Look at where the corner was at, adjacent to the receiver that caught the winning touchdown.
Yeah, way
had he been playing tight, he would have got that interception. Game would have been over. Had he been on him, like they were playing during the first half, the game would have been over.
Yeah.
Because if you go, I don't know if you can pull it up on YouTube right now or not, but whenever you get a chance, when the play starts, look at where the corner is and look at where the safety is.
You're talking about the game-winning touchdown.
On the last play of the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Look at where it was at. Look at where they're at. Safety is almost playing center field, and then you have the corner playing center field too. You can't have two center fielders. You got to have a right fielder.
Yeah.
Look at where they're lined up.
Yeah, I just think, after that, and then when, it's overtime, Kansas City driving the ball. I'm saying this to myself because the whole time, well, I was kind of saying it out loud, but, talking to the TV.
Right.
But I just kept saying, what are they doing? What are they doing? What is the 49ers doing? What are they calling on defense? Why? Why are you running this? Why are you not running that? Why you don't have a spy? Why you don't have a spy? Why the defensive backs are playing so far off?
Man, and like I said, Debo, I could have sworn I saw a spy on Mahomes. But when I went back and look, I didn't watch all of the last half of the Super Bowl. I watched a few plays, and sure enough, there was no spy.
No, there was no spy. There was no spy. I mean, Warner was there a few times, but I don't think it was more of a spy. It was more. It was more or less.
But Warner really wasn't playing that spy.
No, he wasn't. He was just playing center field, and when Mahomes took off, he just went for Chase. But there was no.
Yeah,
I'm
he was almost pulling a Devin White.
The man almost the man almost got 100 yards rushing in the Super Bowl from the quarterback position. Okay, it's time to assign somebody to him so he won't be able to beat you running, because if you assign somebody to him, he don't have nowhere to go. Even if the defensive line is blocked up and he tries to scramble, it's a man right there. But he was just getting loose free, and you was leaving it up to your defensive line to try to run him down because you had everybody else in man-to-man coverage, but no, it was cover two. His safeties was playing over top man-to-man. There was man-to-man underneath. And you ain't even have to do that. Like, you could have put Warner on him, had Warner spy him the whole game from the very first time that he thought that he could start just scrambling. Okay, I got something for you. So now we get into the overtime, and it looks like they're playing prevent. And I'm like, bro, you just gonna let them just march right downfield? Like, the whole game, they was on top of them until the fourth quarter when you started playing off press cover. You got away from the press coverage and you started playing this. I'm gonna say prevent because that's what it looked like. It prevented them from winning, and when Shanahan in the overtime called the timeout because he didn't.
Well, when
he didn't
he
like.
Called the timeout, I was like, man, there's something wrong.
Yeah. He called the timeout and he's screaming and yelling at Wilkes. Basically, what are we running? I don't like this look. I mean, you're playing Patrick Mahomes, and they're going down for the game-winning score in overtime. And you got your guys playing 10 yards off the ball. You're giving them free releases. And I mean, come on, man. So I can understand why they fired him. This is his first year. So he's not, he inherited a talented defense. But if this is just what we seen in the Super Bowl was just part of what was going on during the regular season. And
like I said, this is why I asked you what I asked you. Do you think that the reason he was let go is because Shanahan didn't feel like the defense he was running fit the personnel?
Probably, yeah, more than likely. That defense is that's a ball hawking defense. So
yeah,
I don't really understand why when you got a secondary that's ball hawks, why would you just stay back and let Kelsey and Valdez Scantling and them type of guys get open? Like first half, Kelsey was out. He was out of the game.
Non-existent.
Non-existent. The first half. The third quarter.
I mean,
non-existent.
Well, yeah.
And then the fourth quarter, all of a sudden, he's getting wide open now. I'm like, I mean, a couple of them he ran some good routes. I give him that, but they ran that pick play about 2 or 3 times, and I thought couple of them should have been called offensive pass interference because of the receiver did come in contact with the defensive back, and it was past. I think it's got to be past 1 or 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, and then it's offensive pass interference. But if it's at the line of scrimmage, it's legal. Well, it wasn't happening like that. And then here's another thing. The Chiefs' offensive line we know is not good. That's part of the reason why Mahomes been running for his life all season. We know they're not that good. We know they can't hold up in the passing game. That's why they don't throw the ball deep like they normally had, partly because they don't have the receivers. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes don't have the time to get the ball out there like that anymore unless he's scrambling. That's number 2.
Well,
Number 3.
So here. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Number 3. The NFL officiating crew in that game need to be examined because I saw about 4, maybe 5 blatant holding that was not called, where Bosa was pretty much getting yoked out. That's a hold.
Yeah.
That's a hold. You got to call that play. You got to call that.
Especially during that final drive.
Yeah. Too. And then there was another one where the defensive tackle beat his man out the ball, and you could clearly see the offensive lineman, basically, he's bear hugging his man.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
what about the that one of the final plays of the game where the offensive linemen were cleared down in the end zone?
Yeah, that should have been what they call that, illegal man downfield.
Downfield, yes. So technically, that touchdown pass shouldn't have counted. As a matter of fact, I think it was on the final play of the game. You had two offensive linemen that were practically in the end zone.
Yep, they got to be at the line of scrimmage. It's a pass play.
They weren't that close to the end zone.
No, it was on like the 7-yard line.
I thought it was like the 10, but okay, we'll go with yours 7. We'll go with 7.
We'll go with 7, somewhere around the 5 or the 7-yard line. But I mean, if you got offensive linemen 5 yards past the line of scrimmage,
we'll even give them. We'll even give them some credit. We'll say even the 5-yard line, even if it's at the 5-yard line, Devo,
they can't be in the end zone.
That's still 5 yards.
Yeah. Yes, and we all know we got a former Buccaneer tackle that's over there by the name of Donovan Smith.
You know what? I am so glad you brought this man up. Isn't that something that he's got 2 Super Bowl rings?
Well, I mean, I made this comment, a few days ago, and I said, it's not that Donovan Smith was that good, because he really wasn't. You could go and watch the tape. It's the fact that who you playing for and the quarterback you protecting. Like Patrick Mahomes is the new Tom Brady. He's the golden boy, and they're purposely not gonna not gonna make calls because you're blocking for Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean, it's the Super Bowl, man. You cannot miss.
Yep.
You cannot miss holding penalties that change the game.
Be right back.
A lot of those holding penalties, doing those plays, those plays resulted in big plays, big gains. And one of them was one of Patrick Mahomes' long runs where he was coming around the edge, and you see the offensive lineman just grab the jersey of the defensive end and like almost stop him in his tracks. And I'm like, oh, that's a hold. I just knew the flag was coming because it was in the wide open. Like I wasn't even paying attention to him, and I still saw the hold. So if the cameras we're seeing on TV can catch it, there's no way as an official, which you're standing about 10 yards away from the play, and the line judge, that's all your job is to watch the offensive line and the defensive line. So you can't miss those calls and people say, oh, it was a fair game. Because I mean those plays resulted in points on those drives, which you get a 10-yard, you get a holding penalty in a second and 7 or second and 10. Now it's second and 20 or third and 20, third and 15, but those are the plays that change outcomes. And you have to get them right from the start. Now, San Francisco, for all it's worth, if I'm Shanahan, I'm not kicking that field goal. I'm not kicking that field goal. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose going for it on fourth down. Because people still going to say, well, you should have kicked it. Well, if I kick the 3 and they still go down and score the touchdown, game over. But if I score this touchdown, and now Kansas City has to go down and score a touchdown to have the ability to tie it or go for 2 for win it, that's a little bit harder of a task. But at the same time, you cannot call defense the way that Wilks was calling that defense in overtime. You basically opened the door and just stepped aside and said, "Here, take whatever you want."
Yeah, it was definitely like I said, especially after going back and watching it. It was definitely a tale of two defenses, and I can't believe how much difference there was, and what amazes me more is the fact that I didn't catch it when I was watching it, live and everything like that. I mean, but it definitely was. It was a tale of two defenses, and and the thing is that this is why I posed the question. Is the personnel there able to run that Wilks defense? And obviously they could run that first half defense, but that second half defense, it's almost like it was built for another defense. And I mean, I wish Wilks the best. I think he's a heck of a coordinator. I really honestly don't see why he will not land another job. I just it's just really sad that it ended this way, because I mean he's gotten the short end of the stick twice.
Well, I can tell you like this. Watching San Fran defense this year, opposed to last season. They weren't as aggressive getting after the quarterback. Like against Kansas City, they relied more on the 4-man pass rush and put more men in the coverage. But the way this league designed, if you can't get to the quarterback now, they were in his face and it was making life hard for him, in the first half. But you got to continue to do that. You can't change it up, especially in a tight game where you got to get a stop and you go away from what you're about as a defensive unit and do something else, which basically gave zero resistance to the offense. I just couldn't believe it. I literally was in here just like talking out loud, yelling, not yelling, but just looking at the TV and saying, "Bro, what are you doing? What is going on? Why am I watching us play defense like, you the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary?" I mean, that's what Todd Bowles do with our defensive backs, play 10 to 12 yards out the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can get pressure on the quarterback, there's no need to play that far off. There's no need to play that far off. They were getting to Patrick Mahomes. Part of the reason why he had the rushing yards was because he had to evade the pass rush. So you got to put your defensive backs in tighter coverage, and then you got to put a spy on Mahomes and say, wherever he go, you go. And if they did that, game over. Game over. Game over. I know they still have to play the game, but to me, if they do that, it's ball game because, they had Mahomes on the ropes. They had him on the ropes.
No, and the mistake was giving him a chance.
Yep. Got to score that touchdown, bro. And then they say, "Oh, we didn't know the rules to overtime." Bro, you shouldn't even said that. Come on, man. The referees explained the rules to you before you even had the coin toss.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it. So how you gonna say, "Oh, I didn't know the rules"? Well, I know this. I'm just a fan.
Wait. Who said that?
Let me take this back. I saw this in one of the groups saying that's what some of the players and Shanahan was saying after the game. They didn't know the rules. Now, I always say, don't believe all the memes and stuff that you see on social media. A lot of them not true. But my thing is just to that comment, if that's the case, and the players are saying that, say the NFL at the very beginning of the season, very beginning of training camp, sent all 32 teams the new rules for overtime in the regular season and in the playoffs. In the regular season, you play a quarter. If it's still tied, the game is tied, you go on to the next week. But in the playoffs, they have to decide a winner. So, therefore, you got to continue to play. And even by scoring, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal, the opposite team get their chance to match your points. So, if I know this, you can't say as somebody that's in the locker room, on the head coaching, on the coaching staff, you can't say, "Oh, we didn't know the overtime rules." Well, Kansas City knew them because they even said that if Kansas City was a score if not Kansas City, but San Francisco had they scored a touchdown instead of kicking the 3. Andy Reid and them boys had already said, "Hey, if we score, we going for 2. We not playing for no second overtime." That's what you got to do. Like the whole overtime, San Francisco opted for the ball first, which I thought was stupid. You never do that, but they opted for the ball first, and then you go down, you only get 3. Now Kansas City know, okay, all we need is 3, but we got 4 downs now. We're not kicking the field goal. We got 4 down, so you can call a whole different type of offense when you know you got 4 downs to get down there.
Right.
So
well,
I would have
I agree with you on one thing. The whole taking the ball first. No, I never. I'd give it to the other team every time because I want to see what I got to do in order to win this.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I take ball first, that means I'm going down to score a touchdown. I'm not kicking the field goal. I took ball because I want to get this thing over with. I'm looking for 6 points.
Yep. Yeah, you're looking for the win. Ain't looking for no tie. No. Come on.
He need to learn something from Dan Campbell. Because if that was Detroit, it wouldn't have been no doubt. It wouldn't have been no doubt.
Oh, no.
They would have went for 7 points.
But you also got to look. That's Dan Campbell's bread and butter. That's not Mike Shanahan's bread and butter. Or I'm sorry, Kyle Shanahan's bread and butter. But so now that we've analyzed the game, let's analyze the teams. So we'll start with San Francisco. Obviously, looking for a new defensive coordinator. Player personnel wise, where do you go from here?
Yeah, it's tough.
And let me ask you something. Can you now call this Chiefs team or this era of the Chiefs a dynasty?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, was it three in the last 5 years? Something like that. So yeah, I would say somewhat of a dynasty. I mean, a dynasty in our eyes, the definition of it is to win multiple championships in a certain amount of time. So, I would think that's, not so much of a bad thing to have. But, man, I mean,
well,
I mean, what you think, man? Like, I don't.
Man, honestly,
I'm still scratching my head because we watched football a long time, bro, and I was starting to get that feeling of, man, this thing over.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing really to add to what you said. You pretty much hit everything. I mean, I really have nothing to add. I really don't.
Well,
you kind of doing my job for me, Debo.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
But let me ask you something. How much longer can this Chiefs team go?
I'm gonna say probably about another 2 or 3, and then that's about it.
Well, because I mean, if you look, I mean, there's not a lot of high-priced guys that are on that team. I mean, you got Pacheco, you got Rice, you got Valdez, Scantling, you got Kelsey. I mean, that's about what you have left for high-priced guys. I mean, and in all honesty, I mean, Valdez, I mean, he's a good receiver, but if he decided to walk, I mean, you could probably find somebody else to mimic that production. I mean, he had good numbers, but they're not irreplaceable numbers. Right now, I'm going to be honest with you. Sky's the limit for this era for the Chiefs. I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, Debo, as hard as this is to fathom, you could potentially see Patrick Mahomes at least tie Tom Brady for Super Bowl wins. I mean, he's already got 3, and I don't even think he's 30 years old yet.
No.
So I mean, it's there.
Yeah, but in football, man, that window, it takes everybody to be a champion. So,
well, and see, and that's what I'm kind of wondering about the 49ers, because that window could be closing. You got Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. You got Kittle. I mean, look, I'm not saying that they're ready for the nursing home yet, but they're not spring chickens. Christian McCaffrey is not a spring chicken either. I mean, in all honesty, Debo, that you're talking about windows closing and everything. That window for the 49ers could be closing relatively quickly, too.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Question for you. Brock Purdy, has he done enough to be the undisputed starting quarterback for the 49ers?
Unless somebody special come along, yeah, I think he's done enough. He's done enough. He's been very consistent.
I do too, so... So, what else you got for me, Debo?
I don't know. We covered the NFL. You got anything on like upcoming free agency or anything like that? I know it's kind of early, but
I mean, I mean, right now, Debo, from what I'm getting from the people I'm talking to, that free agency for a lot of teams is a question mark. I mean, right now you got speculations, and that's about where it's at. Speculation number one: Minnesota's moving on from Kirk Cousins. I don't know who they think they're going to get, but that's what I'm hearing. Is that they may be trying to draft Kirk Cousins as replacement in this year's draft. A couple of other things with free agency. There is no real definite talk about any progress with Mike Evans and his contract with the Buccaneers. And the thing is that free agency is still a few weeks away and everything. So I mean they still got time. But I think a couple of people are nervous because I think they thought that the deal with Evans was going to get done by the end of this week, and it doesn't look that way. But I mean, for me, I wouldn't push the panic button yet because I mean there's still a lot of time before free agency. The only other real Buccaneer news that are free agency news that I have heard regarding the Bucs is as far as what everybody is concerned, Devin White is gone. I have not heard them even reaching out to even do a contract negotiation with him and everything and all that. And with that being said, what are your thoughts on that? You've been a really big critic of Devin White and his play and everything and all that. So, I mean, I think people are finally seeing what you've been calling. But do you think that it's wise to just let Devin White go and not at least try to get him back in and try to get him into a position that would benefit him and benefit us?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think, they're done with him. I think they're done with him. And just, take it.
Well, so let me ask you this too. Do we use our first round pick to draft his replacement, or drafted wise, where would you like to see Tampa go in with the first pick, with their first pick?
Yep. So I don't know, man. I mean, sometimes when you get in the big games, you think you have to do something different, and you trick yourself out of winning the game. So you just going for it. So I mean, at the end of the day, you got to. Let me see. Yeah, so I mean, personally, You just got to be a little bit better, on that side of the ball. And, I don't think we'll be sitting here talking about any of this. We'll be talking about, hey, I took him at the beginning of the game, or I made this bet at the beginning of the season, and everybody for a long time, everybody always thought that San Francisco would be the team to represent the NFC, which they all season they was the best team. But it was a point in the season where people was like, man, I don't know about KC. I don't know if they're gonna make it. And this shit might be a bad year, but it ended up being, their year. They got it together at the right time. The team kind of came together, and they played. They played solid basketball when they needed to, and that's the name of the game, right? You want to be playing your best when it matters, and that's the only thing that matters.
Yep. Completely agree. So, what else is on your mind, man?
Let me see. Hold on, let me get out of here real quick.
By the way, thoughts and prayers going out to those victims of that mass shooting there at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade. That's just it's horrible.
Yeah. It's a sad situation that happened at the end of, Kansas City parade. And hope they, get everybody, that's involved and figure out what the motive was. So, yeah. So, what we're going to do, because we're going to take a quick break. Yep. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll come back on the other side. We'll get into a little bit of NBA, and we'll get into whatever else that comes to our mind once we come back from this break. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Rat Pack Sports Show live, Rat Pack Radio, WRPR. I will be back after this. All right. Rat Pack Sports Show. We are back. We are live Wednesday night. Rat Pack Radio. WRPR back in the building. Bring you the sports talk and entertainment. We are the Rat Pack Sports Show. And we are back. We here, man. I got my guy. Rat Pack Sports was on. Mr. William Graves on the line. We were talking, playoffs and, that whole situation that happened there with the game. I got a question for you, Mr. William. What?
Yes, sir.
Super Bowl.
That question you got for me.
Super Bowl commercials. Which one was your favorite commercial out of that game?
I'll be honest with you. I really don't know. Really didn't really pay that much attention to him, if I'm going to be honest with you. You know what? It was probably that commercial with David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston. I thought that one was pretty good. The Budweiser one wasn't bad. Like I said, I'll be honest with you, man. Over the years, the Super Bowl commercials have just kind of gotten out there.